Today we are going to be doing decimals to the hundredths. Yesterday we did decimals to the tenths. So looking at this example here, it says how many pennies are shown? 100. So you can fill that in. And then it says 11 pennies would be what fraction of a dollar?
A dollar. Well,
11 pennies would be what fraction of a dollar?
I know. 89%.
You got it.
11.
Uh-huh.
And
Over
11 over 10.
100.
Right?
Okay. So 11 pennies is what fraction of $1? How did I get 11 and 100? How many pennies equals a dollar? 100. So if I have 11 pennies and I'm writing it as a fraction of a dollar, it needs to be 11 over 100. Okay, so in words, it says write your answer in words and as a fraction. What would I write in words here?
11 hundredths of a dollar.
11 hundredths.
Of a.
Does everybody agree? 11 hundredths? Okay, very good. So we're going to write in words 11 hundredths of a dollar. And then I want to write that fraction as a decimal. So something we need to know is that the tenths place is one place after the decimal point. Hundredths place is two places after the decimal point. So what would that look like? 0. Trey? 11.
0.11.
And you read it the same way. You read it 11 hundredths. Okay, turn over to page 22. This is where the lesson begins. We have some vocabulary words up at the top. Here we go. All right, so our vocabulary words are highlighted in yellow. It says in a decimal, the second place to the right of the decimal point is called the hundredths place. You can write hundredths as a fraction or as a decimal. A fraction with a denominator of 10, 100, or 1,000 is called a decimal fraction. So we have a couple of examples. You'll see the place value chart here. This is when it's less than one whole, and I just have 34 hundredths. It's written like a regular fraction, 34 over 100. This one is a mixed number because it actually is comprised of a whole number and a decimal part. So when I write it as a fraction, it's actually written as a mixed number because I have my whole number and then my fraction. So 1 and 51 hundredths. All right, so we have a little bit of practice together. It says write the fraction or the mixed number as a decimal. So looking at, I have a model and I also have a fraction. How would I write that decimal for number 1? What would it look like, Cademan?
0.27.
Yep, exactly. Number 2, it's a whole number also. Joel?
1.4.
Close. Dot 4D. Okay, 40. If I just wrote 1.4, why is that technically, okay, it's the same amount, but why would it technically not be correct for what I'm trying to write? Yes.
Because it tenths only has 2 digits, and so you're saying that would only be 10 numbers in all. But if
Right.
you add that 0, then that would know that, oh, they're talking about 100 that we're doing, not
Correct.
10.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. So what Trey is saying is that if you only have 1.4, it would be read as 1 and 4 tenths. But when you add that 0, you read it as 1 and 40 hundredths. Does everybody see the difference?
Yeah.
Be very careful. The amount is the same, yes. Like if I look, and if I were to look at this model here, it's 40 hundredths just in this one square. But if I made them out of 10 rods, like how I had the other day, and I had 10 sections, it would be just 4 tenths. So it's the same amount, but how you say it is different. Okay, Now looking at number 3, I should have what? 0.89.
0.89.
Y'all finish 4, 5, and 6, and then we'll check them. 4, 5, and 6, and then we're going to check them. You just have to keep it in there. Yeah. Okay, what did y'all put for number 4?
0.3.
Ooh,
0.03.
0.03. It's kind of like having 3 pennies. Remember? 100 pennies make $1. If I only have 3, it's like 3 cents. So you just have to be really careful that you don't forget to put that 0 in the tenths place, because if you put 0.3, you're telling me 3 tenths, which is different than 3 hundredths. Okay, number 5 should be 5.92. And then number 6 is 31.
0.8.
No, 0.08.
0.08.
Yeah.
Air 5 trip, great job. You caught it. Okay, guys, it will happen. You're going to make a mistake. You're going to accidentally put a number in the tenths place when it should be a 0 and then the number. It'll happen. Okay, but you get to learn from your mistakes. So you can fix it, you can learn from it. The important thing is that we understand that an 8 in the tenths place means 8 tenths. And then when you have 0.08, that means 8 hundredths. So it's like 80 cents versus 8 cents. Would you want the 80 cents? Yeah, it's more. Versus the 8 cents. It's very different. So you've got to make sure you understand that. Okay, moving on to number 7 on the next page. This time I get to write the decimal, but I also get to complete the model as well. So on number 7, I'm going to write my decimal first, 0.73. But I'm also going to shade in 73 hundredths. So how many little tiny squares do I have to shade in?
73.
73. Ooh, that's huge. Okay. Should look something similar to that. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not looking for perfection. If you did yours horizontal instead, you did like 7 whole rows and then 3 of the 8th row, that's okay too. All right, number 8. Try that one on your own. I know it's a mixed number, but I think you can do it. So write the decimal first and then shade. Okay, on this one, I should have an entire square filled in to represent the 1 whole. So 1 whole square. And then how much of my second square?
18.
So a 10 plus 8. So it should look something like this. Okay. The next section says write the number as a fraction or a mixed number and as a decimal. So you're going to do it both ways. The first one is 57 hundredths, which would be 57 over 100. The decimal is 0.57. You try the next one. This one will be a mixed number and then a decimal. Okay, your decimal should look like this one, 13.25. What does your mixed number look like? What do you think?
13 on the side and then 25 and then 25 over.
Exactly. Very good. Great job. Okay, on number 11, Which of these models is equivalent to 50 hundredths? Now think about that for a second. 50 hundredths is equal to what?
100. Oh,
Half. Good. It's equal to half. So which of these models is showing a half? Yes.
Triangle.
The triangle and Prince?
The hexagon.
Hexagon. Uh-huh. Those two are showing half. You're going to circle. On number 12, it's kind of similar to the question that we did on our homework where it says select all of the numbers that apply. So we're circling all of the numbers that represent 9 hundredths. Does A show 9 hundredths?
Yes.
Does B?
No.
C?
No.
D?
No.
E?
Yes.
Good. There's only two, A and E. All right. True or false? Is 67 hundredths equal to 7 tenths? That is false. Is 80 hundredths the same amount as 8 tenths? Yes. Is 2 tenths the same as 20 hundredths?
No.
Yes, it is. If I wrote it so that I have a 0 next to the 2, look, they match now. Number 16, is that the same amount?
No.
No, it'd be like 4 cents versus 40 cents. Okay? All right, number 17, we're matching our numbers to the dots on the number line. 99 hundredths goes to which dot? The first, second, third, or fourth? The fourth one, all the way down here. 78 hundredths goes with the third. 64 hundredths goes with this one. And then the last one goes all the way over here with the first one. Okay, how are we doing so far? Do I need to go back over anything? All right, this is our last page of practice today. Okay, we have an example already done for us. It says the model represents the participants at basketball camp. What portion of the participants are guards, wings, posts? Write your answers as decimals. So it already has everything colored and shaded in for us, and it gives us a color key. So we can see that all the blue is representing guards. So I have 10, 20, 8 hundredths. They wrote it as 0.28. Everybody understand how this works? The wings, 10, 20, 30, 9, 41. So 41 hundredths. Okay, so let's try 18. It's very similar, except this time it's talking about football camp. We have linemen, quarterbacks, running backs, and receivers. So starting with receivers, we're looking at all of the blue. So I have 10, 11, 12, 13 hundredths. So it would be 0.13. Linemen is the red color. I have 10 here. I have 7, which makes 17. Then 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So I'm going to write 0.24. Everybody's still with me? Okay. Quarterbacks are how many? 0.33. And running backs are 0.30. Remember, we're writing to the hundredths. So even though we could leave that 0 off, we want to include it so it reads 30 hundredths, not 3 tenths. Okay? All right. Here's one where we have to do all of it. And we have to interpret a little bit too. There are 100 participants at a baseball camp. 22 participants are infielders. Okay, that one's easy. So we can go ahead and write in 22 participants. But I'm going to write it as hundredths because it's 22 out of 100. 18 are outfielders. So what will I write for outfielders? 0.18. Good. The same number of participants are pitchers or catchers. So how do I figure out how many would be pitchers and catchers? Olivia, what can I do?
You add the first two together, and then
Okay, I'm going to add these first two together. I get 40.
yeah, so 40, and then you just like join the answer.
Tell me how to do it.
And then you just like
How many total participants do I have?
So when you add it up, there's 40, and then you have 100 participants. Yeah, and you just estimate the other number, or not?
Not estimate.
I know how to do it, but I don't know how to.
What do I want to do with this?
Add it.
Reynolds has his hand up. Not divide yet.
Oh, subtract.
Landry, subtract. I want to subtract the number of players I already have from 100, so I have 60 left. Now, Reynolds, what do I do? Now I'm going to divide this number by 2 because right here it says the same number of participants are pitchers or catchers. So that means if I divide this by 2, this is my number of pitchers and catchers. So I have 30 hundredths of pitchers, 30 hundredths of the participants are catchers. Is everybody with me? Okay, now we're going to shade in. So you need to get your colors out. If you haven't already, get your colors out. Infielders are blue. So 22 squares should be blue. Guys, I'm recording this lesson, so please be sure that you are trying your best to eliminate silly noises, side conversations. Okay, the first thing I did was show my infielders, which is 22 hundredths. The next thing I'm going to do is my outfielders. I should have 18 outfielders, so I'm going to shade in these 8 plus 10 more. The next color I have is yellow, which are my pitchers. And there are 30 hundredths that are going to be pitchers. And then the last one I have is catchers, which matches. It's the same amount as I had for pitchers. So again, 30 hundredths to finish out my hundreds chart here. So your model will look something similar to this. We will be doing this independent lesson tomorrow. We don't have time today. We're not going to take it home. No homework tonight because it's Wednesday. So as soon as you're done coloring this, you are done for today.